And she's very talented person.
Yeah, but the fact that she's putting in on a different radio show, another morning show.
Lummy, I have very responsibly really carved out a lot of time for Alex Stein today.
Yes.
I hope he's got a lot, because we have a lot of time to fill today. I'm still needing 2 more breaks by the time we go to him, but I've burnt. We only got to break one more time.
Well, yeah, he called me on Monday. He's got a lot. Plus, we just reposted his birthday wish with telling people that he's on. So if he wanted to like that and repost
Happy birthday to my friend and radio legend Bubba Clem. That comes from Alex Stein. Got 25,000 views. And Lummy, I was already passed out.
Sleeping.
I'm like my dabbling in Twitter window probably shuts about 4 o'clock. So, if America would get bombed at 6 o'clock, I'd probably be already in bed,
But he called me on Monday really interested about this whole Anna thing, so.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to get into that. Alex Stein, Pimp on a Blimp. How you doing, my friend?
Well, I'm doing good. I mean, we had a very busy week, Bubba Army, this past week. And, I don't want to say too much. We don't
you
have
can
to
say all you want. Say all you want.
Honestly, I think it was the right move after what Blitz did. I mean, Anna had to go. There's some things I liked about Anna. I don't think Anna was like,
Hey, listen, why do you think I kept, when I fired Blitz a year ago, I was doing everything I could to keep Anna because I thought Anna was important to the show. And, I just knew that it was going to be tough for me to, navigate through and, be fair to her as a co-host. And probably there were times that I was maybe extra prickish to her, but I always had this looming in the back of my head. So she was kind of guilty by association. It's a wonder we made it a year, but we did. And she's very talented person.
Yeah, but the fact that she's putting in on a different radio show, another morning show.
That's where my kind of like your dad, old school bond, let me just tell you this. If a guy came to your dad and said, listen, I'm out on bond, but I think there comes a point where they have to repay it back, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, no, they don't have to pay the whole amount. They owe us 10%.
No, but if a guy had $100,000 bond, your dad would have put up. He owes your dad $10,000.
Yes.
And that's by a certain date, or your dad can start doing all kinds of goofy stuff on it.
He can revoke the bond, and that's the other thing. That's why all my babysitters, Bubba. My dad would hire a regular babysitter from SMU, and she would quit in the first 10 minutes because I was yelling and screaming. So all of my babysitters were ex-cons that owed my dad money. That's true. I'm not even kidding.
Your dad was like, listen, in order to pay off your bond, you got to babysit my kid.
Bobby Hart, a guy that basically raised me, died of cirrhosis of the liver, was an ex-addict. He got clean. Then he relapsed a few times in the process, but my dad gave him a job, and he basically raised me. I'm telling you, and this guy was a methamphetamine addict.
This is a movie right here.
If Anna would have come to me and said, hey, listen, I got a lot of uncertainty of the show. I'm going to maybe start poking my nose around some other jobs. I want you to know that. I'd like to have your blessing, which I would. I'd give her my blessing. But if a guy couldn't make his bond payment, but he went up to your dad 2 days before it was due and said, hey, what's your dad's first name? Fred? Jim?
Rhett. Yeah, Rhett.
Rhett?
Yeah. Gone with the Wind.
Mr. Rhett, I can't make the payment. But
I give you sucky.
I'm not going to give you a sucky. No. But listen, I'm going to have it. I can give you a portion of it here on Friday. And then in the next 10 days, I'll have the rest of it. But he communicated that with your father. Your dad knew of that, and your dad knew where he lived. He wasn't going to skip. He was a responsible dude. I think your dad would be cool with that. But
he'd always give people extensions and stuff.
But if your dad has to find out that he's not going to, be able to pay his bond on time through the system, or because the courthouse called and said, hey, Rat, let me let you know, man, your bond's due. The guy is nowhere to be found. I think that puts him in a different mentality.
Yes, it does. And you're probably not using the best analogy because people don't understand the bail bond business very well. I know you do a little bit. But Anna, this is the thing, is she had the keys to the castle in a way. This is what I would say to any content creator. I'm very lucky to be working at The Blaze. She's lucky to be working for you. But if you really want to make it, you got to go out and find an audience. You got to do a podcast. Just trying to be a co-host to co-host to co-host. if that's not her goal, I don't think she's ever going to be happy, is my point. If she's not happy, it's because she's not doing what she wants to do, which you gave her the key. She had her own show. She should have been creating her own content as much as possible and just using you as like a springboard.
And I'm not trying to suck Seth's D, but Seth has rolled up in here and has carved out some niches and taking on some projects that I bonus him on, and he's able to make extra money, and he's able to build something. He's building something.
I'm doing 5 podcasts and 5 shows a week.
I gave her, I gave her an opportunity to work with our Instagram, and I paid her, for every 1,000 new followers. So we had an amount that I paid her, and she just really never took to that. She never took to that the way. I mean, Lummy, in 19 days, even Alex Stein will tell you, in 19 days, I aggressively went way crazy on Twitter, and I got us to the monetization level in 19 days. Now, not everybody is like Alex Stein and can throw out a piece of content that gets 5 million impressions.
Immigrants for Trump.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of people. So I had to go in there, and Lummy, I scraped and I was a little grinder, sometimes posting up to 78 tweets a day, trying to get traction. And Lummy, it worked.
It sure did.
But I feel as if she didn't really care about doing anything additional other than her one little show on Friday and 2 Live Jew, of which I don't think that her show on Friday she really, really cared about, but I don't think she cared about 2 Live Jew. And I just don't think that she did not participate or use any of her social media, and unfortunately that's the game that you have to play in this space that you and I live in. I have terrestrial. My terrestrial radio is your Blaze TV.
Of course.
So that's we have other ways and other shows that we do, but we also are very digitally dependent upon the digital world.
Well, yeah, because your 6 markets, your show's only on a certain time frame. It's nice to have the digital media where anybody can, watch your content at any time. That's why it's so important to have that, second thing from the radio. But listen, when it comes to Anna, the Blitz stuff, I don't even know why she'd want to work here. And let's be real. What she got mad about the microphone, she goes and rolls around and does Taekwondo or MMA or whatever with random people. So I don't think she really cared.
Seth was like, man, you roll around and subject yourself to MRSA every Thursday night, but you're afraid that some black guy talked on your microphone.
Well, I think it's more not even about the microphone. She just feels threatened. You got Seth in there. He's out there, trying to be a mover and a shaker, and Anna seemed very complacent. I would say that to Anna's face. I like her, but you're just being complacent. You're just trying to collect a check. You're not trying to do anything to build up the Bubba Radio Network. Like Lummy works his ass off. Am I allowed to say that?
They all do.
Oh, thanks.
Rhett works his ass off on the shorts and the videos. Macho works his ass off on keeping it all together.
And our newest guy, Iggy
McGillicuddy works his ass off on his biceps. Lummy works his ass off on all kinds of different things. Seth works his ass off. He's doing 5 podcasts, developing new ones as we speak for the brand, all for the brand. And, it's a really unfortunate situation where I have to find out that you're applying. Now, listen, she could have applied at any other rate. Do
you think she hit Stein up for a job?
I'm only heard in 6 markets.
No, I would tell you.
She could apply to any other radio market in the world, or even in the market that I'm heard on, in a different day part, like afternoons or nights or whatever. She would have came to me and said, hey, listen, I know you're heard in this town mornings, but I'm applying they got a midday opening and I'm applying for that. Okay, no problem. That's not a competition with me. I'll help you. Let me get on the phone. I probably know that program director. Let's not forget, there was a time I was working with Shane from JVC to get her to do she was a candidate to do middays on Florida Man Radio. That's why we were trying to expedite getting the back studio done.
Correct.
For her to be able to go from here to there. They since found a guy, the great Don Miller, who can drop the N-bomb because he's an African-American man that likes to say the N-word. Now, how do you go wrong on that? That loves Trump. Yeah. He loves Trump, and he loves to tell the African American community, stop blaming everybody else but ourselves. We're the ones that get ourselves into these situations, Black Lives Matter and all this nonsense. And then he drops a couple N's, and he's super cool, man. I mean, what's better than that, right?
No, conservative black guys are like the new punk rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are the.
Who are those two twin dudes that live like in Virginia?
The Hodge twins.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to see them in Vegas. They're great.
They're rock stars, are they not?
Yeah.
I mean,
dude. But see, now they're going after Israel, and I agree with some of the stuff they say, but like that's the thing is, Bubba, even these guys, you can say anything, but you say Israel, you just get canceled. I know.
Why? Why?
I don't know.
And why are these campuses like Columbia and all these? I was talking to Dan about it yesterday, and when we were growing up, and even probably when you were at LSU, college was for people that were maybe wired a little bit liberally, but you could talk and discuss any topic. And it caused a environment of discussion that you could maybe discover stuff or have a better idea of something that you probably wouldn't have had you not attended college. Now colleges are a bunch of snotty-nosed, woke-ass kids who don't want to go to school, who really don't know what they're – I really don't think that half of the Columbia University students that are raising hell – even know what they're raising hell about.
Well, when I was in LSU, I majored in like vodka and barbiturates and all kinds of stuff. I wasn't very political.
Xannies.
I'm saying, Xanny here and there. I was not very political, to say the least.
Camel Crush,
Camel. Me and Hank, we crushed a lot of camels. But this is the thing. What's happening on these campuses, Bubba, it's not just organic, Palestine, Israel. It's basically the BLM movement and, the Summer of Love, where all of those people that created an infrastructure to protest. It's like the protest industrial complex. I know it sounds crazy, but there are people
I was told that a lot of these protests are like being funded by like George Soros, like soft packs.
All of them are. The people, that's why they have matching tents. That's not a conspiracy. These are just like political action committees.
So there's a reason why they all have green tents, because the people that do this went and bought 5,000 green tents, right?
Well, whatever. Yeah, they ordered 100 of the same tents.
Right.
And so this is a coordinated effort. This is not just willy-nilly college students like getting up, today I'm going to do this. But what's happening at Columbia now, they've canceled all classes. Now you have to go online. And the teachers are in on this. I mean, we have a society that's insane, but I'm actually pro-protest. I think I can't sit here and complain. I like the protest, but Bubba, I've been to every kind of protest, BLM, transgender youth protest, drag queen storytime protest. I've been to multiple Palestinian protests. Something's going to happen. I'm not trying to scare everybody. I've said this on multiple shows. I'm just saying somebody's going to pop off at one of these protests. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not saying a bomb. I'm not saying a gun, but just the tents. Most protests, Bubba, are a social event.
And you can see it. You can see it churn. Kind of, you can see it ramping up, can you not? You can see that it's ramping up, and you're right. Eventually, this is going to end in something that's catastrophic.
Yeah, and this is what they kind of want to happen, and they say this on January 6th, and Joe Rogan talked about this, and in the SRG, Strategic Response Group in New York, which is a new department of the NYPD, so they can stop protesters. But even they know that what happens is they'll have one agent provocateur or one person will go crazy at the protest so they can shut it all down. You're allowed to peacefully protest, but we're not allowed to unpeacefully protest. So what you do is you get like a cop or you get somebody crazy to make everybody look bad. So that's what's going to happen. One of these protests, somebody's going to go in there. I'm not saying it's a cop, but it's going to be something. And then they're going to have to start legislation to stop protesting. And then we're going to lose some, our First Amendment rights. So,
well, I mean, I don't think we can ever come up with an amendment to stop protesting. I just think that we need more people in powerful situations, i.e. the Columbia University president or whoever's in charge of campus security, to grow some balls and say, we're not going to allow this, protesting at our university that impedes people from getting into buildings, that like you can protest, you can sit and lay in a tent all night long and stuff like that, but when it starts to get so massive that it's now impeding people traveling through your university, and it's not just this Columbia thing is so disruptive that they've closed school down. That's disruption. And if you are protesting and your protest is so big that you are disrupting, whether it be people getting to school, whether it be teachers getting to class, then we have the right to disassemble or dissipate,
break it up,
break it up,
arrest people,
start arresting people. They have every right to have their megaphones and their stupid sayings. They have all that right. But when they're locking hands together and blocking roads to O'Hare International Airport and being as disruptive as they're being in Columbia, there comes a point where you need to say, hey, listen, legally, you can say anything you want. But when you start impeding people's rights to travel and people's rights to walk down a sidewalk, and that student who doesn't want to protest rights to get into this building and get an education that him or her are paying for, now you're disruptive. And now you must be dismantled.
What do you think about that guy that lit himself on fire outside of the Trump trial? What do you think about that protest?
It's a little extreme.
Just a little bit.
I mean, that seems like he got his point across. No, but I'm just telling you, I don't think, obviously, maybe they're probably not going to make protesting illegal, but they're definitely going to encourage people not to do it, especially after January 6th. I keep bringing that up, but that was like the right-wing protest. Now we got the left-wing protest where you can
is all of this probably fueled by January 6th, and that some of these people were like, well, listen, they did this on January 6th, so we should be able to do all of this and more in these Columbias and Cal States and all of that. I mean, do you think that a lot of this...
They were doing it before. They were doing it during the BLM and Summer of Love.
Yeah, and there's been people there's a woman that set off a bomb in the Capitol that got out of jail and then got to be on, some politicians put her on some political action committee where she was like powerful. They've done all kinds of stuff. There's been sit-ins and protests in the Capitol forever, and those people didn't get punished as much as the people on January 6th. So I don't know. We just the world's really screwed up right now, to say the least. And I think Donald Trump can help, but I don't know if that's the case because it's so screwed up. Like, what can he do?
Hold on. And his rights are being violated every day.
More than anybody. That's what I'm saying. Even if he could fix it, they wouldn't let him.
He can't go out after court. And what just happened that day in court that he witnessed, that he is the defendant in, and he can't go on and give his opinion as to what and how the day went in his own court proceeding because they got a gag order on him. Now that is about as unfair. Now I think Alan Bragg can comment on his day at court. I think the judge is allowed to. I think the judge's daughter that's works for one of these soft packs. I think it was said that the judge's daughter has raised $100 million for her Democratic cause since the beginning of the trial. The judge's daughter.
I'm sure. I mean, this is for them. This is all about clout and engagement. Alvin Bragg, they're on the front page of it. And listen, politicians have been paying off whores. I don't know if we can say that on the radio.
Yeah, you can. Whores.
Yeah, I'm just saying forever.
Let's not forget. No, listen, Stormy Daniels. I don't know if I can use the tape or not, but Stormy Daniels actually first admitted this affair on my show in July of 2007.
I saw the clip.
She didn't say it in Insight magazine in 2011. She wrote it down on a piece of paper, and Bubba Sparks was in here. Lummy, you were in the building, and she admitted that she blasted Donald Trump at Lake Tahoe at a golf event.
What else did she say, Bubba? What else did she say about it?
She said it was
awesome.
Here's where I should probably be seeing if I could get that tape. As much as she's tried to downplay it now that it was horrible and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was not the
when she was being truthful. And there wasn't an alternative, there wasn't an alternative, motive to this. But when she was just being honest that she had blasted Donald Trump, when asked to compare Dave Navarro,
and the Motley Crue guy,
Tommy,
not Tommy Lee, but the lead singer.
Vince Neil?
I'm sorry,
Vince Neil.
She said that she blasted Vince Neil, Dave Navarro, and Donald Trump.
Well, remember how she did it? She wrote the names on a piece of paper,
right?
So you didn't know it was Donald Trump necessarily. You guys were like, whoa.
And we're like, okay, out of those three, who did you the best? Who did you have the most fun with? Who had the hottest sex? And she said Trump, and every one of us, from Bubba Sparks to Spice Boy to me, and I'm like, what? No way. And then Sparks is like, The Apprentice, dude? And we're like, whoa, easy. Because at that point, we're like, we know how litigious this guy is. I mean, so anyway, I mean,
you know what makes me the worst? And I have to air this out because I don't want you to get in trouble with Howard, but Howard Stern used to kiss Trump's derriere. Oh, Mr. Trump, we have The Apprentice. And then they would go and they would rate models, and Trump would be like, oh, she ate herself out of a Miss USA. And they were boys. They was some of the best radio in the world. And now Howard, the way Howard talks about Donald Trump.
Well, don't forget, I happen to be one of the only, I think, what did Howard have at his wedding? 122. I mean,
about that, yeah.
Maybe look it up. I happen to be, I have the distinct honor of being a guest at Howard's wedding, and I sat one table from Donna and Melania. I literally said they were at the Leon Blackstone Investments, Billy Joel, Donald Trump, and I think maybe Chevy Chase or whatever the guy's name is. Is that his name?
Yeah, Chevy Chase.
Didn't Chevy Chase do some weird speech?
Oh my God, Chevy Chase got up and started talking about anal and all this kind of stuff. And finally, I think either Artie or Gary or somebody had to get up and like grab the microphone from Chevy, because Chevy was doing a full blown roast. Like, people were getting up and saying good things about. Hey, listen, Howard and Beth, we wish you the best.
He's kind of a lush, isn't he?
Good luck to you. But Chevy gets up there like it's a lounge gig, and he's like, "Well, I'll tell you right now, you hope 2 years down the road a girl's good, but 3 years maybe the anal will stop." And he's getting up here cutting full blown roasts, and somebody had to grab the microphone from Chevy, and I think Howard never talked to him since then.
Gosh, you're so Indiana. You call him Chevy instead of Chevy. I love that. You have to talk about the GMC, but also,
I want to be factually correct with my auto manufacturers, please.
Yes. Do you remember Howard used to go? That was a big radio beef. He would call Chevy Chase's wife on the air. Did you even remember those bits?
No.
They used to have major heat. Chevy Chase and Howard Stern used to hate each other when Chevy was on top.
Well, Chevy used to do, when Howard was on WABC, I think Chevy had a show at night or something like that, and that was always kind of an adversarial thing between Howard. I don't think he liked Chevy's show.
You know what I just listened to? And you got to give me some context. I didn't realize, and I was just on my recommended because I love Howard so much. I love you, Bubba. I love, this whole thing. I didn't realize Howard went after Mancow so much and making fun of his dead dad like that.
Yeah, he did all that, yeah. I was one of the very few that Howard never went after. I think he went after me one time when I was in Hartford against him, and he said, they got this fat guy named Todd Schwartz or something like that, and he wants to kick my ass or something like that. Todd Schwartz, I don't know, some Jewish fat guy down in Tampa or something.
And he's Jewish. He's yelling about that.
But so anyway, I think that's the only time he really got on me. We never really had a war per se. Maybe that's why I got hired. But I mean, I don't know why Howard did turn on Donald, because Howard and what Howard stands for in New York is that working man that's
libertarian. Howard's been kind of a libertarian his whole life. I thought
and libertarian and loyal, libertarian and loyal. He's loyal to you. And it's he kind of lost both of those with his, the minute Donald declared his candidacy, Howard was on him. Howard was instantaneously for Hillary.
And Hillary's went into his studio. He had Hillary in. And then this is the thing is, we love Howard. He's the best interviewer, yada, yada, yada. But with Hillary Clinton, he doesn't ask about the Lolita Express, doesn't ask about Monica Lewinsky. For years, all they did was joke about Monica Lewinsky. And he finally has Hillary Clinton in there after lampooning her for years. Doesn't bring up the cigar. And I've never heard more about a cigar in a woman's vagina than other from Howard Stern. But you get the woman in there and you don't ask her one tough question, not one single tough question.
So anyway, enough of all that. But I was one table away from there was some Sarah Silverman, Kelly Ripka, Barbara Walters, Leon Black, Don Buchwald, Chevy Chase,
Bubba, but
Sam Simon, the creator of The Simpsons.
But Stein learned how to tuck it last night.
Bubba Clem and Brent Hatley. We were in that, like we were so white triz to be even included into that, right? But we were.
Well, Brent was a loyal soldier for Howard, and Brent was the best content on Howard's show before he left. Him and Shuley, I like Brent. I thought Brent was
We're trying to
get
Brent for our Wednesday slots, and I might have Brent locked in for May 29th. I got Tuttle, Gene Lasker, Tom Bean, and my sister the 1st, 8th, 15th, and 22nd. Now, did you do a tucking thing last night on your show?
We had Blair White, one of the most famous trans people in the world, and she's like a base transgender, doesn't get along with a lot of the other trans people in the community. And yeah, we just did like a tuck demonstration with a hot dog, just typical stuff. But I have to say this before we go. Bubba, you got me in a lot of heat last weekend because, Twin Peaks Gate, prepaid wireless got mad at that, and then you were like, "Oh, she shouldn't get mad at that."
Hold on. Who got Twin Peaks? You're gonna have to rewind.
He went to Twin Peaks. Remember, she was upset because
pay-per-view. I saw a little bit of an insecure chink in pay-per-view's armor.
Well, I don't think she's insecure, but she is on me. She doesn't like me looking at Instagram. She doesn't like me looking at Twin Peaks.
Man, when did you become beta? I always thought you were alpha like me.
I mean, I am alpha, but she's my lady. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Lady.
I mean,
my lady. I'll look at full-blown porn in front of my lady. I don't care.
Yeah, I know, Bubba. She even still talks about it. She goes, "Why would Bubba say that when we were staying at your house? You were like scrolling through the channels and the porn channel's on. She's never seen the porn channel. She's like, Bubba has porn channels on his TV.
When you come to my house, bitch, I got porn pre-programmed.
That's what I'm saying. She's never seen that before. She was shocked.
Man, she's living a very sheltered beta life, man. You need to alpha
Well, she's
up.
young. What do you mean? She's freaking 24. Give her a break. What do you mean? She still has.
So it looks like you got some heat. You got some heat there, huh?
I got a lot of heat. You got me a lot of heat because she likes you, Bubba, and she wanted to say happy birthday to you.
I love her. I've been the biggest proponent. As a matter of fact, when she was gone during that hiatus, every time I had you on, I asked about her. I just didn't know she was so insecure.
Did you have to unfollow all the big booty Latinas?
Yeah.
I've had to unfollow a lot of people, rightfully so.
Man, you've turned into a beta. This is when you double down on the alpha, be an alpha, bitch.
I mean,
you're like, listen, I'm going to look at some Instagram bitches. What's so big deal? You go and look at dudes. I don't care.
Well, I don't want her looking at dudes, but I mean, I guess I don't really care. I mean,
I guess you don't really care.
It's a double standard, right? Because I mean, girls aren't like.
There's no double standard. You tell her, I'm going to look at some big booty Latinas on Instagram. You go ahead and find some dudes that you think are hot on wherever you want to do.
She's into Dontarius.
Yeah. Get a sex tape with her and Dontarius, and then get back to me. See how that works out for you.
There you go.
No, that's not. We're not going to allow that to happen. But I'll just tell you this much: she was a little heartbroken, and I think we're going to be in Tampa soon for Lummy's 40th. I believe is coming up on the 11th. Is that June the 11th? Is that correct?
July 10th.
July 10th.
Yes.
Close enough.
I see not everybody got the invite around here.
Yeah, none of us got the invite. Only Alex. The only person that's going to be at the party is Alex.
That's right.
Wait, hopefully it's not a secret or something. But I think I'm flying in. I might have ruined the secret.
I think you did.
You got an invite, Bubba.
I did?
Yeah, and Seth's going to get one.
Seth is not allowed to go.
No, we couldn't talk about it in front of Anna. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah. Remember, she didn't get invited last year.
Yeah.
And she actually had an... Actually, you know
That's
what,
why.
Lummy, can you do me a favor? I have to let Alex go because I'm running way late. But can you find me that morning when we started the show and I said, Anna, what's going on? And she goes, I'll tell you what's wrong. Everybody here got an invite to Lummy's party except me. And then Lummy pretty much had to kind of tell her at that point that he didn't like her.
Well, and also the reason I did it because of Blitz, but I couldn't bring it up because I had to keep quiet about it.
So, Lummy, is there a reason you intentionally didn't invite me to your party on Saturday and you invited everybody else?
I didn't invite everyone else.
Because everybody else got invited.
Well, no, I mean, like...
and I told you I was making you a cake.
For today.
On Friday.
And I appreciate that, yes.
And I asked you, like a little bitch, like what flavors you wanted, what...
And you've done that before last year.
I do that for everybody.
And I invited you to many of my birthdays.
Really important for me to
I
make people feel celebrated on their birthday. I went out of my way to make you cake. I'm staying at a place that's not my own, so I planned about a week in advance, brought all my baking stuff to the place I'm staying.
Okay.
And I was the only person,
No, that's not
as
true.
far as I know, that was
No,
not
that's not
invited.
true.
Bubba, did you get invited?
Well, yeah,
Of course,
I
of course, Bubba got invited.
Well, I mean, if I don't invite
Rhett
Bubba, I got yelled at.
You know, bless
But I didn't
Macho
go.
Man's sweet, creatine heart. He comes up to me on Friday. I'm taking out the trash. I had just talked to Lummy about his cake.
Watch play in.
It's not his fault. It's not
I
his
didn't
fault. He
invite
just
Jay. I
listen,
didn't invite
it's not his fault.
Brian.
Listen, he says to me, "So am I going to see you tomorrow?"
I'm going to see you tomorrow.
And I said, I was like, poor Mach. He's all messed up. He hasn't been sleeping. I'm like, tomorrow's Saturday, Mach. Why would I see you? And he goes, oh, for Lummy's birthday deal.
Lummy's B-Day bounce house. Oh, yeah, dig it.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, because I really thought we were kind of in the territory of friends, but maybe that was a bit.
Well, I mean, maybe
Bit too much?
Maybe, Anna, that's the uncomfortable answer that Lummy doesn't want to give.
And that's
No,
fine,
listen,
but if there's
I've
an
already-
issue with me,
No, no, what
I
I'm
would
saying,
think you'd
like,
want
I
to
mean,
address
no,
me
hold on, now, hold
personally.
on.
I mean, it obviously speaks volumes. I thought Lummy and I were on pretty good terms, and I thought
I've already said it.
You guys
wasn't out
are
of the
really
way.
good work friends.
Yes.
It wasn't out of the way to not invite you. We have invited you in the past. I've invited you in the past. You've never come to any event. It was one of those things where I was in the back. Macho wasn't sure what he was going to do. He didn't come to the baseball thing. I was like, hey, if you're not doing anything tomorrow, I didn't see you. Now, I asked them during when you were on your show, and it kind of didn't pop in my mind. I invited Dr. Dan Saturday morning because he
so you
wasn't going
invited
to go.
Dan? Bubba, did you get an invite?
Well, of course, I have to invite Bubba.
Right,
I mean,
of
he's
course.
a friend.
Rhett, did you get an invite? Yeah, because you were sending me content. Obviously, Macho got invited. You went out of your way to invite everybody but
I invited
me.
Dr. Dan on Saturday.
'Cause he
I didn't
doesn't
invite
like
Jay.
you.
You didn't
He
invite.
invited me on
It's
Saturday.
obvious
You
that
have
that's
never
the case.
been to one of my
He
events
doesn't
that
like
I've
you.
ever done, Anna. And it's like, I'm like, when it's to a point,
Is
it
that
didn't.
not an-
It never crossed my mind to even ask you because you get to a point when you never show up to something. It's like, well, so when I come
I just
in,
thought you had
just
more
like
class
Dr.
than that, but
Dan
I
on
was
Friday.
wrong.
Dr. Dan, did I invite you on Friday when I saw you?
No.
Okay, so Saturday I was like, okay, what's Dr. Dan? Let's see
Yeah,
if he's
because you
doing
wouldn't
anything.
want to make Dan feel left out. You wouldn't want to make
No, I didn't. His
Macho
family-
feel left out.
his family
you don't
was
give an
out of
F
town.
about me, Lummy, clearly.
Anna.
Clearly you don't.
Okay.
Bubba, I was not slaving away, but simping out, buying him stuff for his freaking cake, doing all the stuff for other people.
Oh, have you? I never get invited
really
to
upset.
anything you do.
I thought
you
she
don't
was
ever
kind of-
invite me.
You're right. I didn't invite you to my birthday party, except I did.
Oh, and I came. Did you come to mine that year? No. Did you come to anything I've invited you to? I invited you to Walker's birthday party. I've invited you to 4th of July parties. I've invited you.
I just thought you
literally
had more class
you
than
won't
that, but I
answer
was
that.
wrong.
You're trying to call me out,
right.
but I don't get on the air
right.
and say, hey.
right, 'cause I don't
and by
do
the way,
anything for
you, how many years have you worked there?
3.
And how many years have you invited me to your birthday?
I only had one party, and you were invited to it.
Oh, you've only had one party.
Yeah. And
Okay.
You were invited
And
to
I
it.
showed up. And how many have I invited you to?
I don't know.
More than 3.
It's
A
usually
lot of them.
Anna,
And you never
Anna,
showed up, Anna.
I will
Not
tell you.
one single time have you
Anna,
ever showed up.
Hold on.
I was
Lummy,
often
And
never
I even
directly
invited you.
Lummy.
I even invited you and
Lummy.
Blitz to Ashley's party, and I didn't even invite Bubba. And guess what? You didn't show up.
I didn't know about
yes,
it.
you did. I invited both of you.
Well, I never
Yes.
heard about it.
Bull.
And Bubba, last thing I want to say before I go, that STD test he bought, a $200 STD test. What do you think that was all about? I mean,
149. Now here's the deal: they supposedly didn't start going out till February, but he bought that test in late October, early November of the fiscal year prior. So I think that they were actually. I mean, we all think that February 14th was their first day.
No.
I think it was way before that.
It was.
Yeah. So.
But Anna has a thing where you have to take a test before you can get with her, right?
Right.
why didn't you just go to those free clinics? Can't you get a free one at Planned Parenthood? I think?
Not when your
free one.
Not when your boss.
Yeah.
You did get a free one on me. Everything Blitz got was free. Anyway,
Well, I still can't believe that he would do that to you, though. I mean, listen, if he took 10 grand on little stuff, that's bad. That's stealing. But maybe it's like a bonus or something. But the egregiousness of it,
3
is
years.
ridiculous.
3 years. So anyway,
That's what I'm saying.
love you, my friend. Let's talk privately soon, okay, buddy?
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Happy birthday.
Holy shit, a lot of people have worked here. Glad we built BubbaArmyHQ.com for all the PTSD memories.
Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be right back.